Today we're here to talk about a new platform for content repository called Starfolio. This is our login page, and you'll notice on the login page that we have a space for a username and a password. We also have our Facebook page icon right at the top so that you can instantly go out to our Facebook page and find fellow learners who you may or may not already know. To get started, we're going to go ahead and put in a sample student name. And we'll put in a sample password. And this takes us to our home page. And on our home page, we have several things that are primarily for the student. So let's examine them one by one. We have tabs across the top. If certain students like to navigate with tabs, we have that built in. For other students, we have more of a linear listing of our functions. The passport page is the first thing a student can go to, and this gives the student a very quick glimpse of the progress that they have made. These are drop-down windows that have their content listed that they could examine something really quickly or show it to a friend very quickly. They could even take a screencast of the page and send it via email to a friend or a teacher just to give them a literal snapshot of their progress. From the passport page, the student can go to what we call our learning tree right here. And the student can decide perhaps to work on a branch from this page. This happens to be the branch regarding motion, and the student can literally click on Work on a Branch and will be taken to our Learning Quest page. Now on the Learning Quest page, we have all of our problems identified here along with learner questions. We also have a column to indicate the growth that that student is accomplishing with each of their problems and learning quests. And if the student is working on a problem, they can go to the View problem and continue to work on it. We have the problem listed here under the Knowledge branch. We have learner questions that the student can orient himself or herself with. We also have the NASA problem that is related to this question here with a live link that will take the student directly to a NASA page that will give them more background information on the problem. Underneath this, we have can-dos for the Learning Quest, and this is a list of descriptions of evidence that demonstrates to the student and anybody else that that student invites to look at their work, whether they are at a stage where they've identified something as a goal, whether they can do this problem with a little bit of help, or if they can do it completely by themselves. And if they can, then the evidence marker will show up. We have developed a column here to indicate that evidence is ready to be viewed. We now have a new tagging feature in this beta version where we have quests in common. If the student were to click on this here, we now have quests with the same can-do in common. So if the student is very intent on learning how to describe constant speed motion, they can go to other problems within the entire Starfolio and work on the very same problem from different vantage points. We also have now a column for tag relations that will be developed where we can further tag specific physics and math related problems, and it will be more visible in this new column that we've developed here. So from here, the student can go back to the Learning Quests and pick something else to work on. And again, we're still in the motion limb of our tree. This represents a completely different knowledge branch with a different problem. And again, a very specific learner question to help orient the student. The NASA problem is available to help give background information. And then once the student has worked on it or has worked on parts of the problem, they can then determine where they are with their can-do statements. These are ways where the student can assess his or her own performance. They determine what they have learned and how much they can do. So again, we can go back here to the Learning Quests. From here, we can go back to the Learning Tree, and we're going to come out of the Passbook page and get right to the Learning Tree. And this is the tree that governs or kind of is the central part to the site. You'll notice that the top 4 branches of the tree here do have pop-up boxes describing the different subject matter, and it does show what the tree looks like as the student progresses. There's fruit on the tree up here to indicate that the student has progressed through the learning branch and is complete. Down on the lower branches, this is where the majority of our content lies at this time, in the motion branch, the mechanics branch, and the energy and momentum branch. The top 4 branches do not have content at this moment. But the pop-up boxes are pretty great because it asks the question, for instance, in energy and momentum, how does the conservation of 2 important physical entities, energy and momentum, explain the actions and the interdependencies of objects on Earth, in orbit, and throughout the universe? So that's the central learning question for this branch. And here we have indicated that the student, our sample student, does show some growth here, but still needs some more work to accomplish. If the student wants to search all the learning quests that we have on the site, they can do it in 3 ways now. We have search a learning quest by its content, by its can-do, or by the whole word only. So if I am to put in, say, the word acceleration here and tag all of these boxes, we will suddenly get an entire page that shows other problems that are related to acceleration, that student can continue their learning and fine-tune their skills. So we can go back to the learning tree from here, and we can go back to the home page. Where we have been has been the passport page primarily and some of the learning tree. What we also have available is a place called biography. And this is a place where the student can relate personal items about their physics and math interests. We have boxes set up, for instance, progress I've made in physics and math to date. Every box is editable on the right-hand side by clicking Edit, and the student instantly can add more material as they go, and they can save their changes. And you'll see the biography page has a place for hobbies, career aspirations for the future, encounters with science in my everyday life, important people I've met or would like to meet in science, places I've been with important scientific connections like a space camp or an Air and Space Museum, some important scientific ideas in math and physics that I would like to explore. So this gives the student a chance to make this a highly individualized learning journey by writing down their personal experiences and ideas and hopes about this particular site, but also about math and physics in general. So from here we can go back up, and again the student is invited to go to our Facebook page. We'll just go there now. And this is our Startup Starfolio Facebook page. It needs to be populated, but the idea is that the student can begin to connect with other learners around the world or within their own school system or maybe within their own neighborhood and begin to share interests and ideas, begin to share problems and answers and solutions to problems. But we do have the Facebook capabilities here. So going back to the biography page, we'll go back to our home page and keep exploring. Under the review section, again, we do not have any evidence currently, but this would be the place where the student would upload their evidence to a solved problem. And again, they can go out to Facebook and post it and ask for peer evaluation or the learning guide evaluation. They can also click on the evidence item from the list here and determine who gets to review it. They'll be able to categorize and determine who gets access to their evidence by editing permissions right here. So they can click on whether all users can see their evidence, or they can describe how it needs to be changed. Then we have a complementary learning styles inventory that the student may or may not want to take. Again, this is for the student's interest to learn for themselves how they best learn. It's important in an online environment for the student to have lots of opportunities to learn, and we try to provide that with visual material, audio material, textual material, but the student gets to learn for himself or herself exactly what their learning style could be. And other resources that we've developed since the launch of the Alpha is a FAQ page. And this is a page with many questions, and if we wanted to, we can expand all. And the student or the teacher or the learning coach or the content provider can go through and read the questions one by one, or that individual can just look through the questions and randomly pick the one or the two, say is what is the teacher's role, and just click on one answer that is relevant to them. In this particular instance, we've asked the question or answered the question, what is the teacher's role in MIS? And the answer is that we invite teachers to be involved in a number of ways. Mission IIS is one of the first projects to use crowdsourcing as an approach for the modules so that teachers can contribute content. And here we have one of the first links to our media wiki. This link takes the person outside of our Starfolio to our media wiki. It's set up much like Wikipedia with 4 categories. We have a place for websites, of which we have quite a bit of material populated at this moment in time. And we also have a place for podcasts. We have a place for video material and documents. And this can be revised as we go. But this would be an excellent place for anyone to provide material for the learners or for the learners to provide material for each other. And again, this is separate from Starfolio, so for a person to provide content, they do have to log in here and create their own account to provide material. Now, coming out of this, we'll go back to the home page, and we have a user survey that all members of our beta co-designer team will take to give the technical staff here at Castles feedback on this process and what we might improve for the future. We also have a space for tutorial videos, and currently we have just a placeholder, but this will be a space where we have tutorial videos, we'll have overview videos, or whatever else we might need that will enhance the site. And we'll go back here to the home page. And then we went out to the Media Wiki, and then we finally have one place where we have a Connect with the Experts site within our website. And this will be a place that will be populated with individuals all across the country that can help students learn, that can provide more information, that might want to be a mentor, that might want to step in and lend a hand to a young learner who's learning physics and math. So that's in essence how to get around Starfolio, and that's what we've created to date. This is a beta version. It is a concept of proof process. We are in a developmental stage, and we would, of course, always be interested and welcoming of your feedback. Thank you.